Hi everyone, my name is Charlie and today I have a currently reading video. I used to make these videos quite a lot and it has since fallen by the wayside because usually I finish books a lot faster than I used to when I started this channel. But alas, alack and all that, because I've been finding myself unable to settle to a book to read, I thought, do you know what, let's just show everyone the way my mind is working at the moment, wanting to flit from book to book. So firstly, I'm going to start with an audiobook, and that is Middlemarch by George Eliot. I am listening to this book for Victober, and honestly, I think that I prefer listening to Middlemarch as opposed to reading it. I know that I tried it when I was at high school, and I found it a bit dense and difficult to get into. However, due to listening to it, I believe that the reader and the narrator, the audiobook reader, has managed to get the rhythm of the prose, which makes it make more sense to me. I'm enjoying it. I currently don't like a single character in there, but that's not a bad thing. I have to tell myself I'm learning about this community, and it's a very large community and everybody's set against each other, and there is a very heavy religious aspect to these books that frustrates me daily, but that's, you know, that comes from not being religious myself, and it kind of just working to emphasize my own beliefs about religion, but that also doesn't stop the fact that I'm enjoying the prose. It's one of those difficult ones for me. However, I'm hoping to finish this before we actually reach the end of Victober. I have not read nearly as much as I wanted to, but I can never read as many Victorian books as I can read modern fiction. Which is also the reason why I'm still reading Martin Chuzzlewit by Charles Dickens. I've just downloaded the audiobook for this as well. I think that I'm going to have to swap between listening and reading to this one in order that I can finish it sooner. I enjoy this book every single time I pick it up, but also I found that because it takes me a very long time to read, I don't actually find myself reaching for the book because I keep thinking about all the things I could be reading in the meantime. I talked about it in my wool gathering video, and I'm talking about it here. I just reached the part where Martin is off to, well, Martin's arrived in New York, and then we're just about to head back to London, so I'm at the page 300 mark, and as we know, I read 100 pages on the first day of October, so I could have read the entirety of the book. Now, I'd planned to finish it by the 20th. Things got in the way, I've been writing, I've been doing other things, but I still want to get this finished because I do enjoy it for the most part. Is it my favourite Dickens? No. There are some great pieces of prose in here, and I would recommend it to people, but it is not my favourite of his books by any means. Then, for my coordinated TBR last month, I started reading Soulbinder by Sebastien de Castell, the fourth book in the Spellslinger series, and I was really enjoying this at the time. And alternatively, I actually found this book and all of the Spellslinger books really fast to read, but also there's something that stops me from reading them. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the fact that it's series fiction and I don't read as much series fiction anymore, but I stopped at, let's see, I stopped at page 126, and so far I haven't had any desire to pick it back up again, which is strange because I also know that I could finish this book in quite a few hours. Then I've also started reading Frostheart by Jamie Littler. I started this on Wednesday night and read the first part, which is about 130 pages, and I am loving this one. It comes from the recommendation of Gavin Hetherington, and I read this in preparation for the Believathon that is happening next month. I am planning to take part, as well as Non-Fiction November, and have this brilliant time with all the non-fiction and all the children's books as well. And also, because I've been trying to focus on writing my own children's book and getting that finished, I really wanted to read some more fiction that is popular that I, have had recommended. This follows the character of Ash, who might have a bit of a magical power that is frowned upon and is about to be exiled from his village when an opportunity arises to go aboard the Frostheart and find his place in the world. So far, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I am seeing the kind of links to Disney, so I think if you're a fan of Disney films, you might enjoy this book. But yeah, there's a Yeti, and there are just some really strong characters in here, and I find it compulsively readable, so there's that about it. Then let's talk about the other books that I've taken a look at, and they're still on this table waiting for me to read. I'll start with a book that I took out of the library, and that is Ducks Newburyport by Lucy Ellmann. I'm not very far into this at all. I'm on page 17 of this book, and nothing wrong with it. Quite looking forward to it at the time. I don't think I'm going to have it finished by the time the library want it back. I know that they're going to want it back before I get the chance to renew it, so I'll just have to reserve it again in the hopes of one day actually getting around to reading it. Too many things got in the way. I put myself onto the reserve list for this book because I thought it'd take ages to get to me. I was number 6 in the queue, and then it appeared. Next, I started to read Hotel World by Ali Smith. After I read Girl Meets Boy, I really wanted to read some more of Smith's work, and I have this on my shelf waiting to be read, so I read the first chapter. And also, if you remember, last year I started rereading the Harry Potter series for probably the 40th, 1000th time, I don't know. I can't remember at this point how many times I've read that series, and I don't think it matters. I feel as though, like, yeah, who cares? Anyway, I started reading Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. I just got to the part where Professor Dumbledore's arrived and they're off to find Professor Slughorn, and I haven't got any further than that. I wanted to read the entire series last year. Usually I would reread the entire series, and if I don't reach the end of the series in one year, I'd start it all again the next. But I just thought, start from the point you finished, and if I actually care, I will read Deathly Hallows, and then I'll read the first 4 books and leave the 5th one, because I've realised I hate it. And why, considering nothing happens in that book, and I know the series, I don't need to read all 7 books to understand what's going on. They're all the books that I'm hoping to have finished in the next week. Apart from Ducks Newburyport, I definitely won't be reading that over the next week, and I'm not sorry about it. I also have a lot more books out of the library. I've still got all the Stephen Kings I told you about at the start of September. I have children's books out of the library. I got the new Pages and Co book by Anna James out, and there's just so much that I want to read and so little time to do it in. It's not upsetting at all, really. Anyway, have you read any of these books? Would you recommend that I make any of them a priority to read before any of the others? Let me know in the comments. I hope that you have enjoyed this video, and until next time, that is all.